So why did you guys get a divorce?
Because I really wanted something different. It's very unfortunate because he was the most loving, kind person. I had all the love and support that I could have ever wanted.
It's actually scary to think that sometimes, despite giving them everything, it's never enough.
But I think I went through a period wanting money. Like I wanted to be with someone and be at a different level. And I saw him work all of the time. It's one thing to like work and work and work from like 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, day in, day out, and still have no resources.
Some men work day and night to be able to provide everything for their family. And imagine if they get treated like this.
And for me to work, do the same, and just want a different life.
So, long story short, you wanted a different life and lifestyle than he was able to provide.
That is called greed. And unfortunately, some people get blinded by that feeling.
And so you said, you know what, I'm out of here. I need more money.
I was selfish and took advantage of a real unfortunate situation.
Admitting the truth means regretting the decision deeply.
Which was he loved me and David unconditionally. Every time we saw each other, like you knew that was your soulmate, right?
If you look into her eyes, you can see the regret and emptiness because she knows she lost a real warrior that was ready to sacrifice everything for her sake.
I mean,
wow, so he was your soulmate? He just loved you.
He really did.
And you broke his heart.
Right at this moment, she can't help but break and cry.
Oh, don't cry too.
Will you take me back?
Will I? You breaking up with me forced me to grow and to change, and spend a lot of time just working on myself.
When men either get divorced or broken up with, they take it as a way to improve and work on themselves.
Figuring out who I am outside of, who I was in that relationship. Because I was very comfortable with you, but comfort makes it hard to grow.
Indeed, that's when a man realizes that in order to grow, he should never settle down and never get comfortable. This is what happens when they want it all. These women did their husbands a favor.
I left a marriage after 15 years. I had 3 kids with the man. I had built a life with him, and I really wanted it to work. And even though I was miserable, there was some security to it. There was a little bit of, at least I was comfortable in knowing what to expect.
During every relationship, there are hard times, and some women give up and think divorce is the key.
As the years would roll by, and every birthday I got the same card that said, next year will be better, I, somewhere deep inside, thought to myself, there's no way, and the only way that my life is going to change is if I leave.
Those thoughts usually end badly because instead of leaving, if they work on it, it might work out.
But I had 3 kids, and I was also thinking, wait, if my happiness means that I'm taking away the kids' happiness and all of the guilt that came into, let me tell you that you will carry guilt with you, that it will be extremely difficult. And when you are looking for people who you're like, okay, well, she left and look how her life turned out, and you're looking for examples, and your mind is researching for the evidence.
That is the worst thing someone can do, compare. And this is the main reason they divorce, because they see fake lives on social media and compare them to their own.
But there's nothing more terrifying than looking back and seeing all the years that you wasted.
Do you ever wish you stayed?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
She just admitted wanting to go back to her ex.
Absolutely.
So what made you guys get divorced, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I came to him and I gave him the very clear parameters. I was like, listen, I figured this is happening. It's undeniable. We can't deny this is happening. So let's just save our marriage and save our life. We have a great life. And so I said, I need these 3 things to happen. And not only did they not happen, but it got much, much worse. And then it got dangerous. And then it got violent. And then it got scary. And then I just felt like I didn't have a choice because things got so violent, dangerous, and scary.
We always have a choice, and we can always work things out.
And I realized that absolutely nothing was in my name. I had nothing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in a really vulnerable position here.
This is something men don't like. They worked hard to gain those things, and they can't simply write them in someone else's name.
Because I never even thought about it. And so then I was like, listen, I need to have some stake in our lives. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
And it was a protective mechanism, clearly. And he was like, no way.
How men think about it is that if they give everything away, there is always a possibility that they might get kicked out onto the street, and they'd never let that happen.
Can I ask a question? So, did you put yourself in that situation where you wanted to make it work for Penelope?
For sure.
Only, or because you loved him so dearly?
Also, I still love him today.
And that's a fact.
Just remarried my ex-husband after being divorced for 2 years. As some of you know, I went viral last year for sharing the story of my divorce. I honestly never imagined that the Lord would bring us back together, so it was almost as shocking for me.
No matter what happens, they find comfort in going back, proving that it was a bad decision at first.
David, my son's father, now my husband, previously my ex-husband, started being more involved when Harv was about 1. He knew almost immediately that he wanted to get back together with me. I was kind of like, listen, I don't feel obligated to get back together with you.
Sometimes, people might say that to play hard to get, but at the end of the day, no one would admit they wanted to go back.
Just because you're Harv's dad. I had spent the year prior working on forgiveness so that I could be truly supportive of Harv having a good relationship with his dad. So I let him know, hey, I don't think the past should define our relationship. A few weeks later, I came down to Florida for the holidays, and when I got off the plane, I saw him differently than I ever had before, and I heard the Lord say, that's your husband.
That is called the aura of the Sigma man.
This was not my plan at all, and I wrestled with it for several days. After a few days of spending time with him, I called Anaka and said, don't freak out, but I think I'm supposed to get back together with David. To my surprise, she was like, why would I freak out? I actually think this would be a really good thing. So I sat down with David, let him know how I was feeling, and was like, great, let's pray about it.
Sigma men are irresistible, especially if they go and isolate and become stronger, better. When a man leaves, it's because he's had enough. She doesn't look happy.
And the truth is that I really loved my husband and my husband at the time, and he genuinely loved me. I mean, talk about romance. I'm telling you, we saw each other weekly. He found a way for us to connect.
This makes you wonder, why would she divorce if he did everything?
Whether him flying to Dallas or him flying to Los Angeles or me flying to Dallas kind of on the weekly so that we could share time and space together. And we had the most beautiful romance and the most beautiful connection.
These are the things men do for them, but in return, the result is crazy.
And sharing experiences, and I felt so completely adored by this man in my life.
So I'm officially one of those people that has a better relationship with their ex-husband than I did when I was married to him. And I would meet other people out in the wild that had this kind of relationship with an ex-husband, and I would be like, well, then why are you divorced?
Exactly. If the relationship is good, why did you divorce?
I can call him and he'll pick up. I can have a conversation with him and he'll hear me. And I don't know how to put it in words, but I can tell you I wasn't good with him when I was married.
I'm divorced. I don't know what kind of tears these are. I just got the mail. I just got the whatever. And I feel like there's just bad energy that's gone or leaving now.
Once the realization hits them, they can't shake it.
But again, I wish it never had to come to this. I wish that I got the worst of it. It ending so badly.
This is a lesson that we should never do things fast because we will regret it.
The regrets women have after divorce vary due to circumstance. A lot of women also regret moving too quickly into a new relationship.
Because when they jump, most of the time they realize the previous one was better.
And lastly, a huge common regret is that they didn't seek support. A lot of emotional turmoil comes with divorce.
That's true. They think it's going to be fun and games, but it isn't.
I was required to take all of the debt in my divorce, pay him alimony or child support. It's life's not fair. It should not be hard. And I'm drowning and I'm not the only one. So when I was married for 13 years, and I like 100% supported my ex-husband in like the startup of his business. Like, I created his LLC. I did all of these things. I pushed him to go to his taxidermy school.
This will show the story from supporting her husband to divorce to downfall quickly.
I made sure that he had a business. I picked the start date. I made the Facebook page. I did all of the things for him. And in the background, I was building my own business and working full time. Fast forward several years later, and we decided to get a divorce. Things just didn't work out. The why doesn't matter.
In most of these cases, they can't even remember why.
But what does matter, and what I'm really struggling with right now, and I'm sure that I'm not alone, is that I was the breadwinner, right? He was a small business owner, so tax returns, write-offs, all the things. And I worked full-time, W-2, making over 6 figures a year. So when it came down to time for a divorce, even though the reasons of the divorce were not my fault fully, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm just as much to be held accountable for the divorce as him. Anyways, because I made the majority of the money on paper, I was required to take all of the debt in my divorce.
This was the ultimate price to pay, and she paid a high price, making her regret it every day.
Or pay him alimony or child support. And quite frankly, I willingly took all of the debt.
And that was the reason she regrets it, because doing it on her own is impossible.
And 100% am supposed to pay for all of the kids' activities and all of the things, which I do. And like literally everybody in my life told me not to do that.
And she should have listened.
And I thought, it's fine, I've got it, I'll be able to handle it. Everything's fine, I'm gonna be able to do it. And here we are, like 2 years out. I quit my job to take my business full-time last year, and it was really I didn't really want to quit. I really wasn't financially ready to quit.
They never know what could happen.
Resentment. It's something that I definitely felt towards H. It's just different for men and women. I mean, and that's just the way it is. Like, anyone can argue that, oh, no, it's not. Like, women have it 10 times harder.
At least by still having a partner, they are secure and together. But alone, they face all obstacles on their own.
We are the caretakers. We have the invisible load. We take care of the kids and work, or some people just take care of the kids. But like, we have an amount of work and responsibility and mental like load. Yeah, when it comes to the kids, that's just it's not the same.
Because they tend to overthink the possibilities and stay stuck in them.
I mean, biologically, we nurse, or some, not all. So while H was able to really dedicate himself more to his career, I've had to split myself, and it has been extremely difficult.
And it's better handled in two, not one. Just like she mentioned, the guy was able to move on and start over while she had a hard time. Well, guys, that was all for today. We'll be back soon.